Huggy Wuggy is an antagonist of Poppy Playtime and the main antagonist of its first installment, Chapter 1, A Tight Squeeze, in which he made his debut. He is also featured in Chapter 3, Deep Sleep, as a nightmare induced by the red smoke, at the end of Chapter 4, Safe Haven, and in Project Playtime. Huggy Wuggy was a toy created and produced by Playtime Company since 1984. Due to the toy's success in the market, he served as the company's mascot, presumably until its closure in 1995. Like many of Playtime Co.'s other characters, his likeness was used to create an oversized organism under the Bigger Bodies initiative. This organism was created in 1990 and was Playtime Co.'s 1170th experiment, under the designation of Experiment 1170, Huggy Wuggy, or simply Experiment 1170. The latter served as a security guard for Playtime Company and was often stationary in the main lobby of the factory, his right arm raised in a gesture that the company referred to as the welcome wave. Appearance. Huggy Wuggy is a tall, slender creature covered in thick, bright blue fur. His arms and legs are disproportionately long and end in large yellow hands and feet. His hands have large Velcro straps on the palms, and both they and his feet possess 4 digits, including thumbs, though they are merely just stitches and are unable to move individually with the exception of the thumbs. His torso is stout and disproportionately small in comparison to his long limbs. His head is large and contains 2 large black, dilated eyes. On his face are oversized, cartoonish, bright red lips. He also wears a thin blue bow tie around his neck. His monster counterpart mostly remains the same, with the exception of his eyes being dilated bigger than intended, giving off a deranged and disturbing appearance. Behind his lips is a maw of dozens of jagged needle-like teeth. Closer observation of Huggy's mouth shows a secondary set of jaws located near his throat, akin to that of a moray eel, resembling human teeth. Using the tallest man Robert Wadlow's height and weight of 8 feet 11 and 439 pounds, and his BMI of 27, Huggy Wuggy's height and weight can be estimated to be around 18 feet 0 and 1795 lbs. Mommy Long Legs was a toy produced by Playtime Company who made her debut in Poppy Playtime Chapter 2, Fly in a Web, as its main antagonist. In 1991, a young orphan named Marie Payne was chosen to become Experiment 1222, the Bigger Bodies experiment title for Mommy Long Legs. Despite her aggressive behavior towards faculty and staff, her motherly behavior towards the other experiments led to her designation as host of the game station. There, she became very popular with the orphans, enough for Playtime Company to create a toy out of her and take it to market. Following the Hour of Joy, which she had actively participated in, Mommy Long Legs lived within the game station until the eventual return of the player in 2005. Upon their and Poppy Playtime's intrusion into her domain, Mommy attempted to murder the player through the game station's minigames, recruiting their respective experiments in the process. Despite getting involved herself and chasing the player down, Mommy Long Legs could not defeat them and ultimately died by their hand, with the prototype collecting her lifeless torso. Appearance. Mommy Long Legs is a tall, slender toy with an uncanny resemblance to a spider-like insect, her name being a playful pun on the spider, Daddy Long Legs. She has an ellipse-shaped, light pink head with a long, black, empty, smiling mouth accentuated with reddish-pink lipstick. Her large, circular eyes are green and human-like, framed by 3 purple eyelashes on each eye. She sports a reddish-pink fringe that wraps around in a circular style on the left side of her head, tied with a light blue hair tie that extends into a long, noodle-like ponytail. Her neck is stretchable and light pink, featuring a toy-like hole at the top, reminiscent of real-life toys. Around her neck is a light blue pearl necklace, complementing her heart-shaped torso and hot pink, sweetheart bodice-style outfit. Her arms are long and extendable, capable of stretching hundreds of feet, with a design similar to her neck. She wears hot pink gloves with light blue cuffs, matching her light blue cuffed socks on her long legs, which end in hot pink doll shoes. Below her torso, she has a large pink abdomen, further emphasizing her spider-like appearance. In her provoked form, Mommy takes on a deranged and annoyed appearance. Her entire body becomes withered and covered in grime. Her face contorts into a permanent frown, and her mouth twists into a scowling grimace. In her deranged form, Mommy's general appearance remains similar to her provoked state, but her unhinged demeanor intensifies. Her eyes are fully dilated, exuding a manic vibe, with her irises fading to a pale artichoke color. She no longer blinks, and her once neat curls become twisted and mangled. Her hands enlarge disproportionately, with fingers elongated and splayed-like claws. Her body contorts into unnaturally alarming angles, especially during her final chase. In her death scene, blood splatters from her abdomen as she is crushed by the grinder, confirming her organic nature, similar to Huggy Wuggy and other living toy experiments. In her trailer form, Mommy appears larger and heavier, with brighter colors and a more glossy, shiny appearance. The blue parts of her body are less detailed, and her eyes also look more toy-like than her more realistic human-like eyes she had in-game. Catnap is a toy produced by Playtime Company and a secondary antagonist of the Poppy Playtime franchise, serving as the main antagonist of Chapter 3, Deep Sleep. In 1990, a young orphan named Theodore Grambell was chosen to become Experiment 1188, the bigger body's experiment title for Catnap. He was originally responsible for looking after the notorious Home Sweet Home. Experiment 1188 contained a non-lethal but potent version of the red smoke in his respiratory system. During the creation of Experiment 1188, he went through 2 iterations before the final version was perfected. During the Hour of Joy on August 8, 1995, Catnap, along with many of the other experiments, turned on the company staff, slaughtering innumerable employees. Following the rebellion, Catnap stayed within Playcare until the eventual return of the player in 2005. With their return, Catnap was commanded to locate and defeat the player, recruiting a series of other monstrous experiments in Playcare. Ultimately, Catnap fails to complete his objective, and during the final moments of Chapter 3, the prototype reaches towards Catnap and slaughters him, snatching away his limp body. Appearance. Catnap's toy form is an anthropomorphic purple-furred cat with black eyes, triangular ears, a black nose and a very long tail. His paws are a darker shade of purple, similar to the insides of his ears. Just like the other smiling critters, Catnap is depicted with a wide, toothless smile with a small gray air tube sewn inside. His torso possesses a zipper line running down that entire segment of his body, with the zipper sporting a yellow crescent moon pendant. Catnap's cartoon artwork appearance is roughly the same as his toy appearance, albeit with his zipper line removed, the addition of white pupils, and the zipper pendant now attached to a black necklace. He was also supposed to emit a lavender scent from the little spray applicator in his mouth, but ended up expelling the red smoke instead, giving children horrendous nightmares. The bigger body's Catnap resembles a feline creature cloaked in purple fur. His eyes showcase black pupils encircled by white irises and a cat-like nose. His mouth remains open at all times, devoid of discernible teeth, forming an abyss-like void. The paws bear 4 digits, each armed with sharp, black claws, and extremely elongated limbs that seem loosely stitched at the joints. The disproportionately small, emaciated torso exposes the rib cage, pelvic bone and spine beneath the skin. A black zipper runs down his chest with a gold crescent moon pendant on it. In his hallucination form, Catnap takes on a more haunting presence, with a sickly gray complexion. This skeletal version of him portrays a significant increase in his skeletal features. His legs resemble mere bare bones, lacking any semblance of flesh or fur. The paws, in particular, are completely skeletal with elongated bone-like fingers. The most dramatic part of the transformation can be seen in his mouth, which has elongated to an alarming extent, surpassing the length of his torso. His torso, on the other hand, displays an unexpected resemblance to a stegosaurus, with ridges and plates adorning his back. The crescent moon that was once a part of Catnap has also undergone a change, now becoming silver. Its moon pendant also becomes a long necklace. Yarnaby was a children's toy produced by Playtime Company and a secondary antagonist in Chapter 4, Safe Haven. Appearance. Yarnaby is a lion, with his mane and fur composed entirely of multicolored yarn. Unlike real lions, his tail is absent. His features extend to an amber-colored face and limbs, with a black line vertically splitting his face into 2, while a touch of tan graces his 3-toed paws. His spherical head contains 2 large, cartoony white eyes with black, dilated irises and small white pupils. On his face rests a big grin with 3 triangular fangs poking out asymmetrically from his lower lip, giving him a goofy appearance. His monster counterpart remains largely the same, with the exception of his paws featuring sharp, broken dark claws and a dew claw on each front paw. His legs also have bloody scratches, scars, and small wounds. In this form, his face splits in half to reveal a large open mouth hollowed out inside his head, giving him a deranged and disturbing physique. The hollowed-out portions are composed of bright crimson flesh, and the outer rims contain swollen gums lined with a ring of sharp jagged teeth, several of which are chipped and broken. Blood can be seen dripping from his gums, indicating that rather than his teeth sitting flush together, they stab into his gums when the mouth is closed. Closer observation of Yarnaby's true mouth reveals a much smaller maw just before his throat. Thanks for watching. Please, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and comment. I hope you enjoyed the video from Poppy Playtime Games. Goodbye.